their name on the list, I freaked out.
Good. Oh, I love making people cry.
My first question is, how is it behind, like, Offset and Doctor Who? Like, do you do any pranks or anything?
Yes, lots. I'm sorry for those of you that have heard this story, because I think people probably heard yesterday, but Karen, I used to prank a lot. I used to hide. She's quite jumpy, Karen, which is funny, because and I'd hide in a shower in a trailer. And when she came in, it's funny you mentioned crying actually. And when she came in, once I jumped out of the shower and she was so frightened that she just cried. But it was really funny.
But does she ever get you back?
Yeah, she tries to. And we would do, there was a lot of stuff. And, I mean, me and Karen and Arthur, it was one continuous prank, really, between each other. It was great fun. So many things. I mean, we were just bored. We were just bored on the film set. So sometimes with new actors, it's a really terrible thing to say. It's not terrible, but sometimes with new actors that would come in or new people, we had this game called The Uncomfortable Touch.
I want to play.
Well, no. Now listen, you lot. Bloody hell. But it was all very above board, I would like to add. But just, people would. So if you meet someone, bear in mind it's a film set. So you meet someone for the first time and you're like, hey, and, Karen and Arthur over here, and you're like, hey man. And then I'll just carry on the conversation. You just leave your arm there. Until the point where the person eventually goes, why is your hand on my shoulder?
I would lose that game if that could last
You know what I mean? And you're like, and it's,
They're leading away.
Stupid stuff like that, really. Silly stuff.
Next question.
I have a second question.
Oh, of course you do, yes.
How was it like filming The 11th Hour?
Well, good, but you're sort of worried that it's not going to be very good, but I always thought that episode was so strong, and I just loved meeting a young Amy Pond. I loved that storyline, and I loved his and I got to come out in costume. There's just loads of cool stuff in that episode that I thought was really fun to do, and looking back, it was one of my favourites actually.
Next question.
Hi, my name is Max, and how did you make the TARDIS bigger on the inside?
Max, thank you for that question. Time and relative dimensions in space. And look, the thing is about the TARDIS being bigger on the inside is, I would love to tell you, but there is a code amongst doctors where the physics and the astronomical science behind it, if I told you, then, the room would implode, and then suddenly the gateways to the universe open, and it's very difficult. But, what I will say is, it's not something I like to repeat in my life anywhere else. Have you got anything that's bigger on the inside at home? Have you got any sort of TARDIS doors or anything doctory like that in your house?
Not really.
Okay, well maybe you should ask your mum and dad to build you a TARDIS and see if it's bigger on the inside. It's a very, very complex set. Thank you for that laugh. Does anyone else have any ideas on how we make the TARDIS bigger on the inside? Any takers? Sorry?
Gallifreyan magic? Time Lord magic.
Well, exactly, Time Lord magic, indeed. It is part of the Time Lord's code. And if I told you, then I would have to take you with me, so I can't do that. Because you've got to grow up in Atlanta and be a cool dude. But have a good day, Max. Sorry for my terrible, terrible answer.
It's because you have two hearts, so it has to be twice as big on the inside.
Exactly.
See? Next question.
Hello, Matt.
Hello.
My name is Anthony,
Hi.
and I wanted to ask you, what was the scariest Dalek you've ever faced?
Good question. Well, the Dalek episodes that I did are, some were better than others. And, oh god, it's really terrible now, and I won't remember which episode it's called. Anyway, there was one, forgive me that I don't know the names, there's one where, the one with Oswin?
Right.
And she's...
Silent on the Daleks.
That's the one, I think those ones are the scariest. The one that's chained up in the room, and she's sort of inside and it's dying. It's all, I think probably that one, I would say. I think, I don't know.
And it would be terrifying because it wasn't acting in its normal behavior and it's chained up. So why are they afraid of it?
Yeah.
Why are they chaining that Dalek?
Exactly. Why is there? There's a mental Dalek. Like, does it get any worse? The
That's a really good
lunatics have
question.
really taken over the asylum. Yeah.
We have time for 2 more questions. We'll take a minute for
have
a follow-up, of
shout-out
course.
request.
Yes.
Could you give a shout out to my recent wife, Ashlyn?
Yes. Hello, Ashton.
So you're newlyweds?
Yes.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations
Yeah,
to
that's
both of
great.
you. Hello. Have a marvellous journey together. Don't screw it up.
That's fun. Next question.
Hi, Matt.
Hi.
I'm Shalithia, and I'm born and raised here in Atlanta.
Hello.
Hi. I just wanted to say first, thank you, because the 11th Doctor and his relationship with the Ponds and River really helped me cope with dealing with breast cancer and everything. And
Good.
oh my goodness, okay.
It's all right, girl. Take a moment.
Yeah.
This is way easier than that, so congratulations to you.
Thank you. I told the person before you. And with that being said, what was the hardest thing to cope with when losing the Ponds and River?
That's a good question. I mean, those things for any character are tricky, I suppose. But I think particularly with the Doctor and Amy, is that for me anyway, the wonderful romance of that story is that he met her when she was a little girl, and I think what was wonderful about that relationship is there was never, how it's easy and it's good and when it's right, when it's right, it's right, when there feels like there's a romance between a Doctor and a companion, but I always liked there wasn't any romance between them, and that the romance was actually, the love was about that he, more like a father, because it wasn't that, because she was like a mother, he was the child, but the relationship always ebbed and flowed, and you never really knew what it was, but it was like they'd been friends since they were children, and it was like he met her as a child, and he was like her imaginary friend, and I think that was I think he lost his best friend in a way. And the companions often are best friends, but with Amy it was like there was this extra element to it because he met her young in the garden and he left her. And it was really touching, I thought. So yeah, I think it was very difficult for number 11, for my Doctor. And also for me as an actor, it was really hard because they were my 2 best pals at work, and yeah, it was tough. But then I got Jenna, which was
Thank you for that question, and congratulations to you for everything with that. All right, who's going to take us home with our last question?
Hi,
Hey.
my name is Zoe, and I was just wondering, out of all the villains or like aliens in the Doctor Who universe, which is your favorite?
Weeping Angel is my favourite thing. I think my top 3 are Weeping Angel, I mean in no particular order, but probably Weeping Angel. And then these 2 are up for grabs, Daleks, The Silence, probably.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
to be really bad with my pun. All my little angels, not to leave you weeping, but we may say goodbye to Mr. Mouse.
Thank you, guys. Have a lovely day. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy.